Alright, today we're going to be learning about dividing fractions. So let's look over a couple of vocabulary words before we get started. The first word is quotient. The quotient is an answer to a division problem. I'm doing a little bit of shorthand with you. Instead of writing out the word division, I just put the division sign in there. I hope that doesn't confuse you. But as we go through these videos, I want to give you ways that you can do some shorthand for your notes. So the quotient is an answer to a division problem. And then we have reciprocal. When a product of two numbers is 1. When a product of two numbers is 1. And here, let me explain a little bit more what that means. For example, the reciprocal of 8 is 1/8. And so let me show you what that means. So if I have 8 times 1/8, and the reason I'm multiplying is because our definition states when a product of two numbers, and a product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So that's what I should find right here. When a product of two numbers is 1. So if I'm multiplying by a whole number, we know from an earlier video that we can put that whole number over 1, turn it into a fraction. So now I can go ahead and multiply my numerators. 8 times 1 is 8. And my denominators, 1 times 8 is 8. Now I'm going to reduce that, and 8 over 8 equals 1. Okay, so we all know that. So again, when a product, right here, of two numbers is 1, and that's when we know we have a reciprocal. And what I'm going to be showing you next is kind of shorten that down just a little bit. Now here we have the steps to solve, and that's what I like to think about it. When I'm solving a math problem, there are certain steps that I use to get to my solution, and that's what I want you guys to start doing, is to think about it as steps to take. So to divide a fraction by another fraction, the first thing that we're going to want to do is copy the first fraction exactly as it is written. The second step that you're going to do is change the operation sign from division to multiplication. It may not make sense to you yet, but it will. And the third step is to flip the second fraction. And the shorthand version that I want you to just remember is copy, change, flip. C-C-F. Copy, change, flip. So whenever you see dividing fractions, I want to pop in your head, copy, change, flip. So let me show you what that looks like. So I'm just going to copy this example right here, 2/3 divided by 4/5. Exactly how I have written over here to the left. I'm writing it down here. So let's follow our steps. The first step is to copy the first fraction exactly as it is written. Let me change colors here. Alright, so I'm going to copy this first one, 2/3. First step's done. Second, change the operation sign from division to multiplication. So here we have division, and now we have multiplication. And our third step, flip the second fraction. This is really multiplying by the reciprocal, because that's what we do. When we divide fractions, we multiply by the reciprocal. And an easier way to remember it is copy, change, flip. So 4/5, and we're going to flip it, and it's going to be 5/4. Now we're going to go ahead and solve this as we would any other multiplication problem with fractions, and multiply straight across the top for our numerators. 2 times 5 is 10, and 3 times 4 is 12. Now you can see we're not done here because we need to reduce it. I know that since I have even numbers, I can start with 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. I'm done. I'm done because this 5 is prime. I cannot reduce this any further. Okay, so let's try this other example down here. We're going to do 4/5 divided by 1/10, so I'll go ahead and write that down. 4/5 divided by 1/10. Okay, so I don't really like that color. I'm going to change the color. I think that might be kind of hard to see. So the first thing I'm going to do is copy the first fraction. So 4/5. Change the sign and flip. Copy, change, flip. I want you to dream about copy, change, flip. All right, so let's multiply across our numerators. 4 times 10 is 40, and 5 times 1 is 5. What kind of fraction is that? Well, it's an improper fraction. So let's go ahead and divide that out. 5 can go into 40 how many times? 8. So our answer to 4/5 divided by 1/10 is 8. Remember, copy, change, flip. Okay, so if we're dividing by a whole number, here's the steps we need to take. We need to not forget the steps we just did. Copy, change, flip. In fact, I'll write that right here. Copy, change, flip, so we can remember that. Okay, so first of all, we're going to place the whole number over 1, then work the same as a fraction divided by a fraction. Okay, so let's put these steps in use by copying this example down over here. Alright, so I have 9/10 divided by 9. So we're going to place the whole number over 1. Okay. Now I'm going to work the same as I did with the fraction. Remember, copy, change, flip. So I'm going to copy the first one. So that's 9/10. I'm going to change the sign from division to multiplication. And then I'm going to flip or multiply by the reciprocal, the second fraction here. So instead of 9 over 1, it will be 1 over 9. Now I can multiply straight across. 9 times 1 is 9, and 10 times 9 is 90. Okay, well, I think that we're done there. Well, no, I think we can reduce it some. Let's see. I see an easy one right off the top. Can you see it? I'm not going to do 3, that's too easy. There's one even bigger. If we do 3, we're going to have to reduce it again. So let's divide out a 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1, and 90 divided by 9 is 10. Now I'm confident that we finished, and then we've simplified our fraction. Okay, so we have one more example. Our last example is a word problem example. I want to leave that up for you there while still allowing room to solve our word problem. Joe has 1/2 of a cake, and he would like to split among 3 people. What part of the cake will each person get? So we are going to have 1/2 divided by 3. So if we refer back here, we will need to place the whole number over 1. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, the whole number over 1. And then I'm going to work the same as I did before with my copy, change, flip. So I'm going to copy the first fraction, change the sign from division to multiply, and flip the second fraction, 1/3. So now I have 1 times 1 is 1, and 2 times 3 is 6. And we cannot simplify that. So each person will get 1/6 of a piece of cake. And that will make them happy.